My review of the Beach Boys album Surfin' USA. It was released in 1963. The production credit goes to Nick Venet, but I'm pretty sure that he was just like Capitol Records, the guy that was kind of assigned to the Beach Boys, and I don't think he really had a lot to do with the sound of the record. From what I understand, that would have been more like Brian and Chuck Britz, the engineer. But anyway, this album I have in like the twofer with the first album, so it's got both albums. Definitely not my favorite Beach Boys album. There's just kind of, well, I guess I'll get into that when I get to the songs. So I'll probably just start talking about the songs. So the first song, "Surfin' USA," it's basically a Chuck Berry song that they just wrote different lyrics to. But I don't know if this was the first Beach Boys song I ever heard. It might have been, because my first like memories I can think of hearing Beach Boys songs were actually just songs in commercials and things like that. It wasn't through like their albums later, and none of them really made like a huge impression on me at the time, but I can definitely remember hearing a lot of these songs before I was into the band. This one, like, it's never been one of my favorite ones of their hits, but I think I like it better than Surfin' Safari. But it's just kind of, a pretty good song for this album, but not one of my favorite ones of their tracks, but it's still a really good song. The second song, "Farmer's Daughter," is sung by Brian and Mike. This song just, it's got a great vocal from Brian doing his kind of like high falsetto thing, which I love. And Brian gets a lot of the lead vocals on this album, which I like, because I love Brian's voice. I'm never complain when he's the singer, but it's weird, because I actually think he might have more vocals on here than Mike. I'm not sure, but anyway, it's "Farmer's Daughter," great vocal. I think the melody of the song's really good. Really catchy song. It's pretty short. All the songs on this album are like really short, and it's a short album, which is sort of good in a way. So the third song, "Miserably," is a cover, an instrumental. Definitely not quite as good as the original version, but it's an okay cover. I think one of my biggest problems with this album is that they're doing so many instrumentals. I mean, the Beach Boys are a vocal band. At least in my opinion, I think most people think that way. Like, the Beach Boys, I think what most people like about them is their vocals. And I've always thought, that they were like one of the best bands vocally ever, if not the best band. As far as like just being able to sing, like put their harmonies together and stuff. Sorry, I'm like kind of rambling. I'm filming this after work. I was like really tired. Anyway, the fourth song, "Stoked," another instrumental. This one was written by Brian, and it's okay. It's just kind of another surf sounding instrumental played in like their style. I mean, it is kind of cool, because it's cool to hear them play as a band, since like they did get switched out for like session guys and stuff a lot on some of the later albums. Even though, I think that the Beach Boys kind of played their instruments more than what a lot of people give them credit for in the studio, really. But because I don't know, it strikes me like some people are almost like like they never played on anything, and it's like that's not really the case. Especially early on, they played like pretty much everything. But anyway, the fifth song, "Lonely Sea," not an instrumental, thankfully, is by Brian and Gary Usher, and it's a pretty ballad. Another great vocal by Brian, so it's definitely, I think, a highlight of the album, because any of the songs with lyrics on them are kind of a highlight of this album. But it is a really good song. The sixth song, "Shut Down," is by Brian and Roger Christian. So Brian used a lot of like different songwriting collaborators, I feel like, throughout his career, and I think like Gary Usher was like the first one, and then I think Roger Christian like came along after it. And I remember reading a book once where they were like, Brian's dad Murray tried to kind of like screw over whoever was working with Brian on songs. But there's definitely like a bunch of these, or a few of these co-writers that pop up with Brian later, and I guess when you get to Pat Sounds and stuff, he's working with Tony Asher, and then Smile later on with Van Dyke Parks. But Shut Down is a song. I think it's one of my favorite songs in the album. Just a really cool car song. Really like the drumming on the track. I think it's Dennis actually, but I think it has a really cool. I don't know, just the whole kind of rhythm of the song is cool, and definitely one I really enjoy. The seventh song, Noble Surfer, was written by Brian and Mike, and it's one of the songs that, like, lyrically, it's just kind of like, I get why a lot of people would see it as just kind of like a toss-off, but I mean, since I enjoy the band's overall sound so much, I like it. I think it's like a reasonably catchy song, but it's just kind of, a silly surfing song. So I guess, early on they have all their songs are like about surfing in cars and stuff, so they're all kind of lightweight, but to me, I guess that doesn't really matter, but I think some people it bothers more. The 8th song, Honky Tonk, another cover instrumental, and it's okay. Couldn't really think much to say about it. They just keep throwing in these surf instrumentals on this album, and it's like, just sing. I want to hear you sing. The 9th song, Lana, is another song by Brian. And actually, I really like this song too. I think Brian gives a great lead vocal. It's just a really short song though. It's like almost over before it even has got going. But I really like the vocal. I think it's got a really good melody to it. It's actually got a cool little guitar solo. So definitely a track that I really like. The 10th song, Surf Jam, another instrumental. This one was written by Carl, and it's pretty good. I like it, but it's just another instrumental. Which then the next song, Let's Go Tripping, is also an instrumental and a cover, and it's also kind of just okay. Like, it's, I don't know, it's just so many surf instrumentals on this album that they all blend together. The 12th song, Finders Keepers, another song by Brian and Mike. That has vocals on it, so it's more memorable than the instrumentals, but it's not one of the better songs with vocals on the album, really, which is only like, I don't know, like 4 of the songs. I wasn't keeping track, but like not very many songs on this album have vocals, which is strange for a band that their main attraction is their vocals. So, like, in that sense, it kind of doesn't work, but I don't know. I do like getting to hear them play this much as a band, so that is kind of cool. Overall, it's not an album that I go back and listen to a whole lot. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5 as a ranking, just because, like, there's nothing on it that I think is bad. Exactly. Like, it's just really kind of mediocre with all the instrumentals. Like, nobody, I think, ever needed this many instrumentals from the Beach Boys on an album. Any time that they have a song where they sing, it definitely like sticks out so much more than any of the instrumentals that it's crazy. So it's not a bad album. It's just there's not a lot that's really great about it. It's just kind of okay, kind of boring, but it's over quick. So it's not a bad album. Like, I don't dislike it at all, really, but it's just kind of really okay. Not great, just okay. The CD version, like I said, it's paired with Surfin' Safari that I got here, which I don't even think they like make these anymore, but it's got like 3 bonus tracks on it. Cindy O Cindy, The Baker Man, and Land Ahoy. I actually really like Cindy O Cindy. The Baker Man is terrible, and Land Ahoy I can't remember. But overall, Surfin' USA, I give it a 3 out of 5, but I definitely wouldn't even think of starting here with the Beach Boys. Should probably be one of the last albums you check out, if there is really, because there's just not that much on it that's really significant. Like, I would just say look up the songs with the vocals on them, and maybe listen to the instrumentals if you're curious, but not